Good morning. Welcome to this update. We have a few things to talk about today. This will be a winter hint as well, but we're going to get right to the meat and bones of this update. We have a lot going on in the tropics, and we're going to get right to that because that's the big story. And we're going to get to the hurricane, rather than the typhoon that's potentially going to hit Hong Kong. But first of all, let's take a look at our own local, so to speak, Atlantic. This is Hurricane Gabriel. Wind sustained at 140 miles per hour. So it's right east of Bermuda. So if you are in Bermuda, and right now it's 7:20 a.m., September 23rd, again, Eastern Daylight Time. You do not want to go out on the waters. There's going to be tremendous rip currents, storm surge. Wave heights are going to be incredibly big. I'd imagine at least 10 to 20 feet with 140 mile per hour winds right to the east of that, about 100 or 150 miles. So be very cautious if you're in Bermuda with Hurricane Gabriel. But we do have good news. And the good news is that it is heading way out to sea, almost a straight shot out to sea. But I'm going to read you what it says here on National Hurricane Center. The first thing is that the swells generated by Gabriel will continue to affect Bermuda and the east coast of the United States from North Carolina northward. So you can see the intensity of how, and in the extensiveness of the storm, the scope. You're going to see wave heights increase along the east coast. So definitely if you're in Bermuda rather, you want to not be on the waters at all. Like no ships, no surfing. You know, that's my recommendation with extreme prudency. These swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions like we just talked about. Please consult products from your local weather office. So again, I'm not an authority on this, but that's my recommendation. Your ultimate authority is your local weather office. They'll tell you everything you need to know in terms of the rip currents of this storm. Number 2 is Gabriel is forecast to approach the Azores. So it's heading eastward late on Thursday. So that's tomorrow. Interests in the Azores should monitor the progress of Gabriel, though it is too soon to specify the magnitude of potential wind, rainfall, and wave impacts. I could be wrong, but I believe the Azores are either an island just west of Europe, but nevertheless it's heading east towards Europe. So it's going to be a fish storm and not going to be heard much about in the next week or so when it heads out to sea. So that's that. I want to get to the specific typhoon. So let's look at, I haven't looked at WPC in a long time, but we're going to take a look at WPC. I believe that's Western Pacific. Let's see if we can get this going. Nope, that's not it. WCPC, let's try hurricane, typhoon. If not, I'm just going to Google an article on it. WPC typhoon. Let's see. Typhoon shutters. Bear with me. Okay. We're going to look at typhoon. What was the name of this bad boy? Let's just say typhoon headed towards Hong Kong. And we're going to take a look. So this is Typhoon Ragasa. So we're going to take a look at an article on this really quickly, but spend some time on it because it's very important. Typhoon Ragasa to hit Hong Kong with 210 kilometers per hour winds, flooding risk comparable to Typhoon Hato, Mangkhut, Czech threatened areas and landfall path. So again, it's headed towards Hong Kong, although I just saw an update on Weatherbell where Joe Bastardi went over this storm a little bit, and it is going to significantly weaken, which is good news because at one point it was a Category 5, way over that really. It had winds of 170 miles per hour, and so it does look like it is definitely going to head towards Hong Kong, but it's looking likely that this will be a lesser storm, maybe a Cat 1 or 2 as it makes landfall. Let's see if this will have anything on here about landfall. No, it does not. So yeah, I'd love to get the site on this, although I don't remember the site where they predict western. Let's try this. Western Pacific typhoon maps. Let's try this. This might be the key. Okay, hurricane zone here. Perfect. Here we go. National Weather Service, and we're taking a look now at the Western Pacific, Japanese Meteorological Agency, and we're going to take a look at this typhoon. And I'm not familiar with the site, so I might have to call this one quits. But I will say, if I have any viewers that knows anyone or is in Hong Kong, you definitely want to keep your eyes on the storm. Not to alarm anyone, but not to be naive about it. It's a big, powerful storm system heading your way. Hong Kong's a major city. In a way, this is like if you were to see New York City hit by a Cat 3 hurricane or 2 or 1, which is kind of like what Sandy did. But the good news is it has definitively weakened in terms of its intensity, and it's continuing to do so. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to talk about how the models are overdoing the warmth the past 3 to 4 years, and we saw a clear example of that last winter where the CFS were predicting a warm January and February, but they turned out not just way off the blowtorches they had for those months, but pretty colder than average too. So we're seeing a lot of current models do that in the medium range as well. The last two things I want to look at is the MJO and its current velocity potential. And again, we have a very strong MJO signal. And again, the MJO is basically like a wave of energy that pulsates and moves throughout the globe. And when you're in the energetic phases, the active phases of it, you tend to get energetic weather. And the weather starts to be more energetic in those areas. So here's our September 20th look. This is from 3 days ago, but it's pretty, you could say this is a current look as well. In the Western Pacific, we have a very strong MJO pulse signal. Also in the Eastern Atlantic, we have a strong signal, hence why we're getting a lot of waves forming off Africa and heading towards the USA. But if you notice here in the USA, we have a very unactive, a dry, if you will, MJO signal, a very lull phase, not a lot of energy there. So that could be why, if there's several storms in the Atlantic that might hit the USA, not Gabriel, that's off to sea, but there's a couple behind that. And if they don't, I believe the MJO will be a very big factor of that, because it's not in its energetic phases. And again, when you're talking about the weather, like attracts like, that goes with pressure systems, it goes with air temperatures at times, and it also goes with the MJO. So if you get an active MJO, it's going to be attracted to anywhere that has an active MJO. Whereas if you get an inactive MJO, as over the USA in this image, you're not going to have that MJO kind of phase with it and into it.